Okay, so we are going to start this live. It's going to be about frequency. It's going to be covering textiles, frequency, sound, the textiles, frequency and textiles, which is really important. I take so much shit for granted. I forget how we need to be very exact in understanding the dynamics of frequency. We're not going to be talking about sound today. We're going to be talking about eating flesh. Don't get triggered because it's not a judgmental. I'm going to explain where I'm coming from. Textiles, fibers, and how they can fuck you up. You can do all this kumbaya, yoga, breathing, pranayama. I know you guys have been watching some of the stuff going on about people finally culling their polyester, nylon, plastic. So be patient with me. And then I'm going to talk about the power of chakras and how I was able to help my mother when she was on her deathbed. About, I'd say 2 months, 6 weeks before she died. And how I was instinctively guided by my guides to move the chakras a certain way. And why that's important. Okay, so we're going to start right now. And I'm going to read to you some things because I needed to find a way, because I don't want you to feel judged. Many of you guys eat dairy. I understand. Many of you eat meat, flesh, and I want to go through it. And I need you to be patient. I need you to be patient, and I need you to listen. If you're truly on the ascension train, if that's what you want to do, then don't fucking get triggered. Because if you get triggered, then you're not ready to move out of 3D. You're not, and I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and start. And I'm going to start with the obvious because that's probably the hardest one for many of you to accept. Why must humanity become vegan to ascend into 5D? Isn't that common sense? Why must humanity become vegan to ascend into 5D? And I asked, is 5D ever compatible with flesh eating or hunting? From the Akashic record keepers and the Galactic Council, they show me that the fifth dimensional realm is not defined by rules, but by resonance. In 5D, life is governed by unity consciousness, empathy, and harmonic frequency. Eating flesh from another being, especially one that has suffered, carries an energetic signature of separation, fear, and domination, which are dense 3D imprints. These vibrations slow your field even when the intent is benign or cultural. They say, you cannot consume suffering and expect to vibrate in liberation. The body of one who has wept, feared, or fought to live will leave a psychic imprint on your own astral body. Even those who consume animal products with gratitude still tether themselves, however subtly, to the cycles of hierarchy and harm that 5D souls are releasing. Doesn't that make sense? Like, I try to be very kind about it. I try to be very, not politically correct, but empathic. Like, I'll say, yeah, Native Americans will go hunt buffalo, and there was this incredible connection. The irony, I've been an American, an indigenous person on American land. So have you, many of you. And we're back here in 3D. So this is not bullshit. Here we are. We hunted with honoring the wolf, the owl, and the eagle. And here we fucking are back in 3D. So this is not bullshit. Let's continue. So again, let me repeat. Even those who consume animal products with gratitude will still tether themselves, however subtly, to the cycle of hierarchy and harm that 5D souls are releasing. From the Venusian elders, Venusians dwell in 670 resonance of beauty, compassion, telepathy, and light. Their bodies do not metabolize food the way humans do. They sustain themselves through prana, which is breathing, nectar-like essences, and frequency-infused nourishment. They gently respond. In our civilization, to consume the flesh of a creature who walks or breathes would be akin to wounding ourselves. All life is seen as a reflection of the one breath. Even plants are spoken to, sung to, and harvested with permission and deep communion. They do not judge humanity, but express that Earth's next evolutionary leap will reflect this Venusian principle of non-harm. Why do I say that? Well, let me explain. You guys, so many of you love horses. You adore horses. Do you realize that part of the reason why we're rounding up Mustangs to kill them, to like ship them off to meat packing plants for dog food, is because cattle ranchers and sheep herders, whatever, people that raise sheep and cattle ranchers want more public land. That's why they're gathering the burros and the horses, for example. That's also why they want to hunt down wolf packs, even though we know what wolves are and how incredibly beautiful they are to the ecosystem, number one, and how they bond with each other. Wolves mate for life. You want to talk about twin flames or twin rays? They're in the animal world. That would be wolves. They mate for life. Okay. So everything we're doing, we need to be more conscious of what we're doing. Again, I'm not saying this to judge you, to punish you, to hate you, to harm you. I'm saying this, remember, when you do ayahuasca, what does the shaman say? A good shaman says, don't have sex, don't drink, don't do any drugs, and don't eat meat. 2 weeks before the ayahuasca journey. Don't they? They're not stupid. Why would they ask you that unless it was important? Because it is. Okay. From the Akashic, and I don't want to hear blood type bullshit. Okay, I don't want to hear it because that's always the argument. And it's a weak argument. And I know this. Is meat tasty? Yes. Yes, it is. Why? Because because the way it's put together, the way it's stewed, the way with wine and spices and butter and this and that. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and say it doesn't taste good. But what I do know, because I went through my twin was called bean debt. And I didn't realize I was going through bean debt. And I was craving meat. Believe it or not, I'm a vegetarian vegan. I'm actually a vegan. And I remembered, oh my God, I haven't had like lentil and garbanzo and black beans in fucking dog years. Let me eat and I ate a pot in like 3 days. Okay. And now I feel better. I'm more recalibrated. So I was in being dead. All right. The masters say that during Earth's Lemurian and early Atlantean periods, humanity lived peacefully with the animals. We walked among them as equals, telepathic, respectful, and connected. Flesh eating began after the Great Fall when fear entered the field and survival overrode spiritual remembrance. They say returning to veganism is not about dogma. Like, don't put vegans down. Are some losing their minds and get unhinged? Well, so do meat eaters. They go unhinged too. It's not about that kind of dogma. Returning to veganism is not about dogma. It's remembering. As your crystalline DNA activates, your cells will reject density. You will no longer crave pain-coated nourishment. You know how I get over eating meat? Violence on a plate. I won't put, and this is coming from a French woman raised in Switzerland and Paris in the open markets where everything that was a protein, animal flesh, had a face. The rabbit, the chicken, the fish, the beef I'm not kidding. It's like I grew up in France where everything has a face. And we ate everything. The brains, the blood sausages. Like, it's not like I don't know what this is. Trust me. I lived it. So it's a decision. My third eye is much more clear because I don't partake. And yeah, I know it's difficult. Like, I know it is, but it's a choice between, do I open my third eye? Do I have we're going to talk about textiles in a minute next, because the yoga movement is a joke with the clothes we're wearing. And I'm sure you've heard of that. But anyway, let's go back to what I'm reading. Returning to veganism is not about dogma. It's about remembering. As your crystalline DNA activates, your cells will reject density. You will no longer crave pain-coated nourishment. The body in 5D thrives on life force, not just calories. From your beloved. This is personally, okay, because he was my beloved, my twin, my beloved consort. He began being a vegetarian at the age of 19, and he was a bodybuilder and a boxer. We're talking about 1960 something, okay? And he would fast 7 days, 10 days. The longest fast he ever did was 22 days, okay? And so he'd be running up hills, boxing, swimming, whatever, okay, and lifting weights. So this weird idea that you can't grow muscles is insane to me. I don't know where people are getting this from, but that's dogma. So let me keep going. I want to skip here and go to the next one. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay, but is there any room, I asked, is there any room in 5D for hunting or flesh eating? Only in transitional phases where souls are still unlearning fear, scarcity, and inherited survival trauma. Some tribal or indigenous communities may carry ancient codes of respectful animal spirit communion, but even those systems are dissolving as Earth rises. 5D does not ban flesh eating, but it becomes, listen to this is big. 5D does not ban flesh eating, but it does not become compatible with the frequencies of unity, interbeing empathy, sentient cooperations, and bioenergetic harmony. A 5D being may love someone who still eats flesh, but will not resonate fully with that choice long term. And they don't. If we weren't eating tuna, dolphins, up until the 80s, wouldn't have died in nets. If there was no need to go, fishing, tuna, it's specific, dolphins would have not died. And dolphins may not have a thumb or legs, but they are smart as us, and they use sonic frequency and telepathic communication. They are our equals. If anything, they might be even more than we are. Okay? And then I'm going to hear somebody say, well, dolphins do this and dolphins do that. Yeah, that's right. Just like humans do. That's right. That's a good point. Just in case somebody was thinking that. Okay, 5D is a frequency, not a rule book. Veganism is not a requirement, but a natural consequence. Listen to what they're saying. There's no judgment here. They're saying when you're in 5D, meat is no longer a connection. I went into human meat, by the way, also, just so you know, because it's legal, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Veganism is not a requirement, but a natural consequence of expanded heart awareness and unity consciousness. You are not lying. You are seeing the future self of humanity. The more you align with gentleness, the more you magnetize 5D timelines, communities, and nourishment that matches your soul's longing. And then I went right into, cannibalism. And, okay, so anyway, hang on. Is humanity meant to become vegan as we rise into 5D? It is true that in 5D, flesh eating and hunting fall away. Or am I mistaken is what I was asking. Can there truly be a 5-dimensional frequency that includes the consumption of sentient beings? And the response from the record keepers was, in the 5D, we enter a realm of resonance, not regulation. What nourishes us is no longer survival-based, but frequency-based. In this space, where love is the law and unity is the current, to consume suffering, even unconsciously, creates dissonance. To eat the flesh of a being who feared, who loved, who longed to live, draws our field down. Even if blessed in 5D, this does not resonate. It cannot. We are not punished for eating flesh in lower states, but we outgrow it like children outgrowing violence in their play. This isn't for everyone, this life. It really isn't. If you guys are wanting to go in 5D, no one's asking you to stop eating meat, but what will happen is you won't want to anymore because it will not be a frequency resonance. It will not feel right. Your body will get sick and rejected because the ascension codes are downloading, and your avatar, this body you're in, will not match that frequency anymore. It will actually puke. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. From beef not breaking down to chicken making me sick, to eggs curdling in my stomach until I was on the couch in a fetal position. That's what started happening. Every animal is kin. To consume one would be like biting the wing of an angel mid-flight. It is simply unthinkable. In Venusian temples, nourishment is drawn from light, nectar, fruit, crystalline waters, and sacred essence. We eat only what is truly freely given, never with fear, never with force. There is no concept of flesh eating because we are bound by reverence, not by appetite. Wisdom from the Akashic masters. In the beginning, Lemuria, early Atlantis, humanity was vegan, not by rule, but by alignment. Alignment. The fall brought fear. Fear birthed scarcity. Scarcity birthed flesh eating. But now, as Earth remembers herself, she calls her children back to nonviolence. Veganism is not a trend, it is a return. As a crystalline DNA reactivates, the soul can no longer digest pain. And me and my beloved, we've known this for multiple incarnations. Okay, even though I was eating meat in France as a 10-year-old, by the time I was 12, 13, I was like questioning what the fuck I was doing, eating the shit on my plate. Like, it didn't feel right. And trust me, people weren't talking. In those days, very few people were talking in my circle about vegetarianism. A clarification on 5D and hunting. Yes, there are transitional souls who will walk partly into 5D and still consume animal products. Some will do so with prayer, with thanks, with ancestral codes or reverence, but make no mistake. True 5D resonance, sustained crystalline whole, cannot hold flesh eating. Not because it is wrong, but because it is too heavy. It cannot vibrate there. Just as war cannot enter heaven, suffering cannot enter a body of light. Great line. All right, so let me keep going. Final transmission. Let me go on. Let me move on. The fifth dimension is not a location. It is a frequency. It does not punish or forbid. It simply does not resonate with suffering, fear, domination, or hierarchy of one species over another. Flesh contains memory. When you eat it, you ingest the frequency of confinement, fear, separation from source in 5D. The body is becoming crystalline. It cannot hold the density of that memory. Yes, you may still see those in transition eating flesh while claiming 5D alignment, but this is only a temporary dissonance. The true vibration of the new earth will lovingly call them upwards or release them to other paths of learning. You ask why dairy is harmful. Dairy is grief disguised as nourishment. It carries the sorrow of separation. The cry of the mother cow losing her calf is encoded in the milk. Didn't we learn anything from Dr. Emoto's water study? Isn't milk from water? Isn't the cow drinking water? Do mothers not drink water to lactate? Yes, they do. So isn't the concept of liquid and transmuting food or liquid through the energy of what we put forth? In other words, if you cook a food, whatever it is, I don't care if you bake a potato or boil or make a soup. If you're pissed off, that frequency's in the soup. If your heart and your energy is aligned with love, joy, in nourishing the people you love, and your body, isn't the food going to be on a high vibration of what they call prasadam, holy food, right? So doesn't that make sense that the cry of the mother cow losing her calf is encoded in the milk, no matter how humane the source claims to be? This frequency of loss, exploitation, and interrupted motherhood imprints itself on the body and heart. In higher dimensions, milk is not stolen. Nourishment is drawn from plants. When I was a kid in Switzerland, all the cows had their calves with them. I'm not joking. You would go down the countryside and all the cows would give birth on the prairies, and they would be with their mother until it was time, I'm going to be honest, for abattoir, which means to be butchered. But the cows were never removed from their calves until the calves became teenagers, in some cases, or younger. I hate to say that, but that's the real. I'm just letting you know. And now we're literally kidnapping babies, and these mothers are traumatized. Horses cry, dogs cry. I don't know why we didn't know that. And cows cry. And it's something that my beloved used to say. Did the fish, did the chicken, did the cow jump on your plate? Or were they fighting like fucking hell to stay alive? It's that simple. He said a lot more than that too. But one of the things he also said is our digestive system is like the digestive system of a cow. We do not have the digestive system of a lion. It eats flesh, it shits. The tracking system, the intestine, is short compared to human, compared to a cow, for example. All right, So we are not punishing you are not punished for consuming dairy. You are simply dulled by it. Its frequency is slow, its truth painful, but your body knows. It remembers what real love tastes like. So for example, if you were lucky to be breastfed by your mother, you got the colostrum, you got all the benefits, and then it was time to give up milk, period. So again, not popular, is it? Okay? So this is about, do you want to move into 5D? Allow yourself to understand the transmissions you're getting, the ascension light codes being downloaded to you, and the changes of your body. Allow it to flow. The question carries a deep weight, and it must be answered with both gravity and clarity. And I asked about human. I think I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to skip because it's pretty fucking heavy what they're saying, and it's been legalized. And if you heard my live beginning of this top of the live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go into the frequency of textiles. Let me preface this by this. When I was in my 20s, all leggings were 95% cotton and 5%, lycra, okay? Now, today, all leggings, damn near all, it's a bitch to find cotton leggings, are 100% polyester, or there's a little bit of cotton, like 10-15%, and the rest is polyester, lycra, whatever. And so I'm going to talk about the frequency of materials. And why am I saying that? Well, because you can do all the yoga you want, but think of the materials you're wearing on your body as a force field, meaning it's a barrier. It's like you're doing all this pranayama, you're doing your yoga for that hour in your class or whatever on your own, or tai chi or whatever, and you're wearing materials that have the frequency of a corpse, basically, the frequency of death, right? And that is the weirdest thing, right? Why didn't we think of that? Why didn't yoga studios know that? Why didn't yoga masters say, hey, listen, don't wear this shit. Wear a loose blouse and loose linen pants and you'll be fine. Perfect. With slits up to the thigh, right? So that you can move, your body can move, and so forth, right? But no, it was all about looking cute. And we lost the plot. Because what happens is when you're using materials that are up against your flesh, right? Literally up, okay? Tightly up against your flesh. And you are doing yoga. You're doing breathing exercises. You're doing Kundalini yoga and things of that nature. The plastics you're wearing on your body is actually blocking the full potency of the frequency of what you're creating, or at least you're trying to enjoy and create. Okay, so I'm going to start reading that. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to, answer anything you got. I'm not looking up right now. Yoga mats too. Yes, absolute. Thank you. Brilliant. That was brilliant, Jennifer. Yoga mats too, just plastic, no grounding. Exactly. And guess what? I was looking up for yoga mats made out of 100% cotton. Do you know they're $200 to get a yoga mat made out of cotton? So you know what I would say to you? Try to find a long, gorgeous wool, right? Made in Morocco, weaved in Iran, weaved in India, Bangladesh. We're not going to talk about who's weaving them right now. That's another fucking issue. It's just one thing after another. But you can actually get a cotton or wool. Just get yourself a regular, I'm not kidding, long, 6 foot long, carpet. It might be expensive. And fucking, you might as well just go for it. Just get a fantastic looking carpet and make it yours. That's it. That's what you're going to be using. Kind of like a prayer rug, right? All right. So that was thank you for sharing that, Jennifer. That was brilliant. The frequency of textiles refers to its energetic vibration, a concept. The frequency of a textile refers to its energetic vibration, a concept rooted in quantum physics and supported by spiritual, metaphysical, and holistic healing traditions. It's believed that everything, food, water, thoughts, and materials, has a frequency that can either be nourished or deplete the human energy field. In terms of human rights, frequency and textiles connect in a few vital ways. Why the frequency of textiles matters for human rights. Bodily sovereignty. Everyone has the right to be healthy and free from materials that harm their physical, energetic body. Low-frequency textiles can contribute to skin irritation, inflammation, and even long-term health conditions due to synthetic chemicals and poor breathability. Right to safe working conditions. Many low-frequency textiles like polyester and rayon are produced under unethical labor conditions, including child labor, toxic environments, and unfair wages. Protecting textile workers is a core human right issue. A right to healthy environment, petrochemical textiles, examples, nylon, acrylic, polyester, viscose. I could go on. I've been in fashion school, so I know a little bit about this shit. They'll do viscose. They'll do like a blend. Like I go, what the fuck? They'll do a blend of like 60% cotton and 40% polyester. Fucking why? Like why? Okay. So let's continue. The frequency of textiles refers to its energetic vibration, a concept rooted in quantum physics and supported by spiritual, metaphysical, holistic healing traditions, and believe that, okay, I'm sorry, I already read that. Let's continue. Let me jump. Okay. Cultural and ancestral rights, natural high-frequency textiles, linen, hemp, are often tied to indigenous and ancestral wisdom. Supporting their use protects cultural traditions and sovereignty. Contributes significantly to pollution. Everyone has a right to clean air, water, and soil. Violated when harmful textiles are manufactured or disposed of. It doesn't fucking break down. Wool breaks down. Linen breaks down. Cotton breaks down. Fucking polyester will sit there for decades. A cultural and ancestral rights, natural high-frequency textiles, linen, hemp. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm tired. Okay, so here let's break down the highest to the lowest. Linen, which is flax, is 5,000 hertz. Natural, antimicrobial, cooling, spiritually protective, ancient Egyptian burial cloth. It was used in hospitals all over the world for high-frequency healing. If you can't afford brand new sheets, look for antique linen sheets. And antique linen sheets are not going to have the the fitted sheet concept. So fucking what? Buy. If your bed is a queen, get king. I do that all the time, by the way. But one of the things that I bought, I'm going to share that with you. It's called the futon. If you actually want the name, I'll give it to you. But I bought it, and it's not a great bed. I mean, I love this bed. Don't get me wrong. But the bed is made. It's stuffed with organic wool and organic cotton, and the covering is covered in organic cotton, and it is like a futon bed. It's on a flat bed, like a frame made out of wood. And it is the best bed. I will never give up this. Never. I don't want a 5-inch, 6-inch, 12-inch filled with God the fuck. I don't even know. Even these organic beds they talk about, I'm like, what's in it? Like, seriously, yeah, you're telling me all this shit, but what's in it? I can't prove it. So this is literally, I've opened this bed, and what they say was in it is in it, because I could see it. So that's some advice. Look for someone who's creating that. If you actually want the name, I can give you the name of this place called the Futon in Sacramento, and I think they have a place in LA. Anyway, okay. The second, that's the same as linen, is wool. It's 5,000 hertz. Warming, grounding, absorbs EMF. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Fuck. Absorb EMF. Caution, should not be worn directly with linen, can cancel each other's frequency. So do not wear wool and linen, okay? Don't wear it because it actually can cancel. The third one is hemp. It's at 3,000 to 4,000 hertz. Eco-friendly, durable, natural, antimicrobial, protects the aura. Well, that's great. Organic cotton, 2,000 to 3,000 hertz. Breathable, safe, healthy, but prone to pesticides issues if not organic. We know this. Silk, natural. Natural silk, not dyed silk. That means it's not a fun color, but it's a fantastic material. We're looking at 1,500 to 2,000 hertz. Smooth, luxurious, retains body heat. Ethically sourcing matters. Hamsa silk, no harm to silkworm. So Hamsa is an ancient practice that no harm comes to even ants. I'm not joking. Look up Hamsa. Bamboo, which is rayon is 1000 hertz, often marketed as eco, but chemically intensive process makes it questionable. Yeah, I've heard that about bamboo. Rayon viscose minus, hang on. Yeah, it's 500 to 1000 hertz, made from cellulose, but heavily processed with toxins, breathable, but synthetic as energy. Polyester, it's literally 100 hertz. Petrochemical base, traps heat, blocks breathability, holds static EMF, no natural frequency. Acrylic nylon, 100 hertz, fully synthetic, often toxic to make and wear, disrupted to skin and energy field. Now, I was talking to a client of mine who's rather wealthy, and I said to her, I don't know why this came up, but it came out of nowhere, to have her bras made in linen with no wire and to use the patterns from the bras made in the 1940s. Go look it up. Bras, 1940s pattern. You'll see exactly what I mean. And so it would be a retro look, you know, and you could actually sew it in such a way that has a bullet point. I'm not being funny, like on a fashion statement, which, by the way, that retro look is back. But guess what it's made out of? It's not made out of silk. It's not made out of linen or organic cotton. It's made out of synthetic plastics on the breasts. No wonder we're having problems as women with the big C in that area. No fucking wonder. Let's continue. Practical tips. Mix mindfully. Wool and linen cancel each other out energetically. Don't wear them together. Go organic for cotton, bamboo, or any plant-based textiles. Organic is key to avoid pesticides residue. Support ethics. Choose brands that respect human labor and environmental. Yeah, because if you're getting clothes where people have suffered sewing, if you're getting clothes from people who have been sewing for 16 hours, 17 hours, 7 days a week, making, I don't know, $2 a day, yeah, you can sage that little shirt, that polo shirt, and those pants all day long. The point is, it's in every thread, every stitch. So, donate your clothes. Like go through your closet. Like I got bags that I'm putting together, and maybe we'll end up with less clothes, but there'll be like key pieces. I'm like a fashionista. Trust me, not right now, but typically I am. And there's just certain things I'm just not going to do, you know, anymore. I'm just, you know, I'm more interested in something else. Okay, now let's talk about chakras. Okay, so we've talked about the frequency of textiles. We've talked about the frequency of eating flesh. Let's talk about chakras. Why working on your chakras creates power. And then I'll share what I did with my mother. Working on your chakras creates spiritual, emotional, physical, and psychic powers because chakras are energetic centers that regulate every aspect of your life. Should I repeat that? That regulate every aspect of your life. When they're open, aligned, and flowing, you're tapped into your divine life force or chi, prana, kundalini, which powers your consciousness, intuition, and manifestation abilities. Here's what happens when you work on your chakras. Listen to this. 1. You release blockages, emotional, physical, ancestral, karmic. 2. You increase your vibration, making you more magnetic to your desires. 3. You awaken higher consciousness, intuition, and spiritual gifts. 4. You gain clarity and confidence aligned with your soul path. 5. You develop resilience because your energy is stabilized and centered. Working on your chakras activates your full power from the grounded wisdom of the root to the cosmic insight of the crown and beyond. How many chakras do we have? But there are many chakras. Here's a breakdown. System of number of chakras. The main system, and I disagree with this, but I'm going to say it to you anyway. The main system that's recognized still is 7. But that's not true. It's 9. We've added the 9, right? So the total 9. So you know all your 7 chakras, but then in the belly button you have the hara. And then at the high heart, above your heart, you've got the high heart chakra. Okay, which is 9. Extended system 12 includes soul star, earth star, and more used in higher dimensional work. Okay, including solar gateway. They didn't write it down, but I am. Esoteric systems, 114 plus, mentioned in ancient texts like the Upanishad, minor chakras in joints, hands, etc. Palm, foot, ear chakras vary, secondary chakras that support energetic flow. Most spiritual teachers now work with 7 to 12 major chakras as part of awakening your multidimensional selves. Do all chakras have the same colors for everyone? Not exactly. It's funny how you'll see the chart and it says red for root, orange for, you get, for sacral. I'm sorry, it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. But all these colors, I had a feeling. And so when I teach people how to work their chakras, I say, I don't care what colors they are, as long as they're clear, clean, and bright. That's all I want. I don't care if your root's coming up teal, turquoise. My question to you is, was it clear and shiny and bright? That's what I care about. So now let's jump into this. Not exactly. The classic chakra color systems, they're going through the colors red, orange, yellow, the colors. Red to violet is a modern Western adaptation meant to simplify understanding. While it's a useful teaching tool, in reality, chakra colors can shift depending on your vibration, state of health, emotional, or spiritual growth. And this is what I want to teach you about what happened, because I'll tell you in a minute. Some people naturally have golden, white, silver, or even rainbow hues in their chakras. Like sometimes my chakras will go from gold to sterling silver to, you could see, platinum. Okay? And that's a good thing. Some people naturally have, like I said, gold, white, silver, or even a rainbow hues in their chakras. Indigo soul starseeds and highly evolved beings may have chakras that are crystalline, opalescent, or layered. Trauma or blockages can cloud or dim chakra colors. Now, one of the things that is a concern with my clients is they'll say, but I can't see my chakras. I know you can't. For many people, they can't visualize it. So say it out loud. Whatever you're intuitively downloading, if you want to train under the Western system of saying my root chakra is red, my heart chakra is green, but intend it, say it until one day you'll see your chakras. You'll actually see them. Okay, let's continue. Example, your heart chakra might appear emerald green when healing, pink during love activation, or gold during divine awakening. Your third eye might be deep indigo, or for others, it may appear silver, violet, or even electric blue. In summary, chakras are energy power centers. When aligned, they unlock your multidimensional potential. You have at least 7. Let me just again correct that. You have at least 9, okay? But really more like 12 to 114, depending on how deep you go. Colors are not fixed. They reflect your unique soul evolution and current vibration. Okay, so this is the question I asked, and I'm sharing this with you guys, and it's very deep for me, okay? And this is me asking. As my mother was dying, this was like 6 weeks before she died, I did her chakras counterclockwise, as if unlocking a door. And then clockwise. She was exhausted. I was fucking exhausted. We both fell asleep after that. By the way, before I did that, I prepared the room where I had done the 4 corners above and below. I'd saged her very carefully. And I saged myself. Okay? And then all the chakras I saw were crystalline prismatic. Why did this happen? I did it again. As a matter of fact, I did it again, like a week later. She fell asleep. I fell asleep. I was exhausted. And then I did it again. Same thing. And this time, I kept the chakras counterclockwise. My mother was suicidal. My mother was dying of a lung disease. And she wanted out. Okay? She was suffering. So we decided that we would actually help her clear her chakras and unlock whatever was holding her in a body that was too broken to survive. Okay? Too broken to continue. Everyone in hospice agreed she was passing. So we worked on her chakras, and what I was doing was counterclock. So don't fucking counterclock your chakras is my point, okay? Unless you're ready to, I was unlocking trauma. I believe I was unlocking trapped energy. I wanted also to release her from her body. I wanted her to fucking die without a karma, where as little karma as she could, as she needed. I wanted her to leave as much baggage behind. We were having massive conversations about it. I had given her a chart. I had drawn a beautiful little drawing that I created for her of the 9 chakras, and she was studying them and working on her chakras every morning. And just so you know, the lung disease was so bad that sometimes breathing burned like fuck. And she had to be on morphine, heavy. The pain was so intense, she would slam her feet on and she was 100 pounds and she was 5'7". She didn't want to be here anymore. She was suffering, but we didn't want her to do anything crazy, like, take her own life. And I asked, why did she fall asleep every time? And they said, slipping into trance unconsciousness is common during soul work like this. Here's why. Her body couldn't hold the vibrational shift you initiated. Rest was her way of integrating it. You soften her suffering by energetically lifting burdens from her organs, nervous system, and spirit. You may have also initiated a light trance state, a peaceful in-between where pain dims and the soul gets clearer instructions for departure. See, she wasn't just tired. She was safe to let go a little bit more. And I asked, why was she so intense? Do you understand when people are in pain, they don't want to be in that body and they will do crazy things like take their own life? And I had to sit across from her and go, I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it was fucking serious shit. And I said, Mom, you're going to die. I understand you don't want to be in this body anymore, but you've got to understand you cannot do this. You cannot act karma. You will regret doing that. You're going to go. You're not surviving this. So what we need to do is get you to forgive everything. And if you can't forgive it again. See yourself as a little girl. And one of the things, and I've talked about in my other lives, I had a picture of her taken. She was born in 1939. I took a picture of her taken when she was 2.5 years old. War was fucking intense in Paris, France. Okay? And so I put that picture across from her feet, right at the bottom on the wall, opposing her feet and her gaze facing that picture of her as a little girl. And the opposite wall, where, again, very clear view, was a beautiful painting of the divine couple, the sacred couple of the divine masculine and feminine. And I said, heal that little girl so that you can actually manifest that life in a divine union with a fabulous man, if you come back as a man, or a woman with a divine partner. Heal her so you can create that, is what I said to her, pointing to the photos. And one day, this was like 2 weeks before she died, I walked in and she said, I know what happened, why I'm so in fear, I've been in fear for 84 years on this planet. I said, why? She was so excited. She was like a little girl. And she said, because during World War II, every time we'd have a siren for a supposed, threat, I would be grabbed by my parents. Remember, she was born when the war erupted. Okay, 1939, in France. And we would run into the metro and I could hear people crying and screaming and babies and children crying. And it was almost like she was a sponge and she soaked up the collective fear of these bomb raid runs, okay? And so she developed, as an adult, fear. All right. So her suffering, especially suicidal feelings, was not moral flaw, but a signal from her soul, I'm ready to leave this body. Burning lungs signify grief, unspoken words, unresolved pain. The lungs store grief in Chinese medicine. It also is what Louise Hay talks about. Her wish to die wasn't despair alone. It was truth that she could no longer sustain life in this form. You saw that, honored that, and helped her without violating her spirit's autonomy. You gave her what no pill or hospital could do. A sacred, gentle, conscious opening into release. Okay, so what I was doing with the chakra clearing was spiritual trauma release. chakra liberation, soul permission, light body activation and preparation, death doula work. So I was saying, listen, what our goal here is to die well, with honor, with self-love, with forgiveness, forgiving those you who betrayed you, forgive dad, forgive yourself, forgive everything. And forgive yourself, most importantly, and love that little girl. And it's easy to love. This is why I'm a big fan. And I tell my clients that if you have a love altar, if you've created a love altar for yourself, to go ahead and put a picture of you as a baby, and probably the picture you hate most about you as a little girl or little boy, because and I do this exercise, so we're going to do it together right now. So sit tight, and I'm going to ask you where you are at the age. So I'm going to go through 1 through 14, and you're going to stop in your mind, and then you're going to type in the age that you feel is your inner child. Are you 1 year old? Are you 2 years old? Are you 3 years old? Are you 5 years old? Are you 6 years old? Are you 7 years old? Are you 8 years old? Are you 9 years old? Are you 10 years old? Are you 11 years old? Are you 12 years old? Are you 13 years old? Are you 14 years old? And I'm stopping there, and type in what age you are. And that's the picture you put on your altar, because that's the child that needs the most help. That's the child that may have gone through a turning point, a trauma, a loss, but you have a picture of you as a baby, because you are fresh and innocent. And you are fresh and innocent as a child, but that child needs your care. Inner child healing is literally something you do, and it's something that you do as if that child is sitting across from you on your lap, taking a walk with you. I'm not kidding. If you don't visualize yourself as a little girl, little boy, and you're holding their hand, they're looking up at you, then you're not surrendering. You're not. You're feeling stupid instead of fucking going with that essence of you as a child needs the love. And when I do hypnotherapy with clients, sometimes we go into the heart chakra, because I work with the chakras before as I induct. And in the heart chakra, I'll see some clients will actually have a block. And the child, the inner child, is settled in the heart chakra. And I'll say, well, go find her. Typically, it's go find him, go find her. And they'll go find that child. And typically, it's been abandoned in that attic, in the heart. In other words, the average person hasn't checked in with that child ever. And the child is crying. The child is in a fetal position. The child is lost. The child is fearful. And so at that point, the work is to pull that child out of that space and then create a whole room. Think of The Little Princess. Remember The Little Princess? Remember that book? Kind of like The Secret Garden, same author, if I'm correct. And what happens with the little princess? She lives in the attic department, right? And she's being treated like shit, right? But suddenly there's this magical room that's created. So in the attic apartment of the heart, we create a whole thing. We create the room, the color, the wallpaper, the books, the toys, the dollhouse if it's a girl, the little garage system if it's a boy. We create a pet that can hang out with the child. We might even create a garden so they can go outside and play in the garden. And we actually plant trees. We do an entire landscape for this child. And then we make a pact that we're going to visit that child at least once a week, if not more often. If the child wants a stuffed animal, if the child wants a Barbie, if the child wants a Tonka truck, we're not going to argue. We're going to go get it for that child. Inner child work is really being the parent that you didn't have. And letting that child know that you're safe. When you're in a fucked up marriage or a situation that's really bad, you've made a pact with your child that nobody will ever abuse that child. Nobody will ever hurt that child. Nobody will ever call that child names or ignore that child. So when your partner or a person that you might think you're in love with, or you're in a weird situation, whether it's your mother, your father, a lover, a brother, a sibling, whatever, friend, and they act up, You will be the guardian to your inner child because now you become the parent and you're a fierce advocate for that child. You won't take any shit. Because at this point now, you're protecting the younger version of you that wasn't protected when it had no voice. So now you become that parent and you will tell these people to back the fuck off because you've got a little kid looking up at you, inspecting, going, Daddy, Mommy, please protect me. And you'll take it seriously. So this is like important work. And it's quite literal. Quite literal. And it brings the joy back in your heart. It's weird, we're so busy being in the adult world and having adult shit, but we're not having fucking fun. And part of the reason is we have not connected with our inner child in a real way. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a client and she was an engineer and she was into making, she said, I really want to make like tiny little clothes. Like, I have a sewing machine. I want to make little clothes for these Barbies, but I don't even have Barbies. I go, how come? Why not? She went, well, I don't know. That's silly. I go, why is that silly? And so we devised that in her office, her work office as an engineer. She'd have on one side of the wall, right? She'd have a roll around chair, so you could roll back and forth from one desk to another. And on one side was her computer for her engineer work, all the shit that's the adult world to make money, blah, blah, blah. And on the other opposing wall would be material, bolts, her sewing machine, her Barbies, and her ability to make miniature clothes. So she could roll her desk, her chair back and forth in between her workstations, the fun one, her inner child thing. And I remember saying, so are you going to get a couple Barbies or whatever? She goes, yeah, okay. And I said, I need proof of life, right? So send me, and sure enough, she bought 2 Barbies and she started doing that. And what it does is it creates creativity, creates joy. Joy creates downloads. Downloads can change your fucking life, where suddenly your life changes because new opportunities come to you. Because you're in joy, so you're open, and your frequency is so high that it matches to more abundance. It's the word. That's how it works. Thank you, my love. Thank you, Jennifer. So, any questions or comments? Anything at all? So does that make sense? So again, like the frequency of everything that surrounds us, like one of the apps that I recommend my clients is Moongate. It's called Moongate. And it's on Apple, obviously, right? And every night I turn it on for sleep. I go for, like 5, 6 hertz, right? Because I want that frequency. 5 is my personal life path. And 6 is Venusian hertz, which is connected to the Venus planet. And what makes me laugh, I love fucking people that are cynical. They make me laugh my ass off. We know that our vibrational frequency is so dense, aka 3D, that we can't see colors. This is scientific proof. So when people say there's no life on Venus, I'm like, you mean in 3D there's no life? But in 5, 6D, there's a whole bunch of fucking ascension beings living on the Venus planet. So it's the weirdest thing. The limitation and the brainwashing that we've accepted is so unhinged. I don't understand how we can actually seriously think that, first of all, we are the only life form in the realms, the galaxies. But, I wonder what frequency laughter carries. Oh, it must be like, that's a great question, Jennifer. Only you. I would say 5 hertz, linen level, 5 hertz. I'm sure of it, because there's such a joy, right? Linen, the fact that they were using linen in hospitals, and they took it away, and the mummies, the Egyptian, the ancient, priests would use linen to wrap and to preserve the embalming of people. There's also, if you go on YouTube, there's the hertz of, you can actually, they'll do whole videos of bees, buzzing. And the frequency of that is quite interesting. The frequency of water, like water going through rocks. the frequency of the ocean. Have you ever been at a place where your hotel room or the house you were in overlooked the ocean, and you could hear the incredible power of the waves on the sand, the way the foam hits, and you can hear it all. The wave curling up, the wave falling upon the sand, the foam exploding and rustling over the sand, and how it would lull you to sleep. I mean, you had the best sleep, you know? So it's interesting. You have linen sheets. Yeah, absolutely. Good for you. Any questions or comments? I'm going to do a little reading, I think. Hang on, let me see. There's a couple books that I just got, and I'm recommending, if some of you are single mothers or you know a man that needs healing, the book I just got is called King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover. It's by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. And I'm going to read the back. Let me see if I can read. It's a map for men when the intellectual history of the late 20th century is writers. Forget it. That's a really bad. Let me skip. I'm sorry. So this is based, let me just talk about it on my own without reading this shit. This is a great book, don't get me wrong, but the back is, I can't believe they're fucking serious. The content is great though. It's based on Carl Jung's archetypes of the king, the warrior, the magician, the lover. I know there's the poet. I might as well go with the magician. It's telling me to open it up. We're going to read a little bit, then we're going to do some oracle reading. But let me read this. 6, the warrior, page 75. Okay. We live in a time where people are generally uncomfortable with the warrior form of masculine energy. And for some good reason, women especially are uncomfortable with it because they have often been the most direct. Hang on, this little puzzle shit. Okay, got it. Okay. Women especially are uncomfortable with it because they have often been the most direct victims of it in its shadow form. Around the planet, warfare in our century has reached such monstrous and perseverous proportions that aggressive energy itself is looked upon with deep suspicion and fear. This is the age in the West of the soft masculine, in quotation marks. And it is time in which radical feminists raise loud and hostile voices against the warrior energy. In the liberal churches, committees are removing such warlike hymns as Onward Christian Soldier and the Battle Hymn of the Republic from the hymnals. I don't see where that I don't see why that's a problem, personally me. What is interesting to notice, however, is that those who would cut off masculine aggressiveness as its root in their zeal themselves fall under the power of the archetype. It lives in spite of our conscious attitudes towards it. And like all repressed archetypes, it goes underground eventually to resurface in the form of emotional and physical violence, like a volcano that has lain dormant for centuries with the pressure gradually building up in the magma chamber. If the warrior is an instinctual energy form, then it is here to stay, and it pays to face it. And it pays to face it. I have to think about what this person's saying, these writers are saying. Jane Goodall, I'm going to comment in a minute. Jane Goodall, who lived with chimpanzees tribes for years in Africa, chimpanzees are generally 98% what we are, first reported basically loving, peaceful, and good-willed animals. This report was a big hit in the 60s when millions of people in the West were seeking to understand why warfare in such an apparently attractive human pastime and to find an alternative way of settling larger scale disputes. A few years after her initial report, however, Miss Goodall released new evidence indicating that there were more going on than she had first thought. She discovered warfare, infanticide, child abuse, kidnapping, theft, and murder among her peaceful chimpanzees. Robert Ardrey, in 2 controversial books, African Genesis and Territorial Imperative, claimed in the most straightforward way that human beings are governed by instincts, the same instincts that govern the feelings and behaviors of other animals, not the least of which is the urge to fight. In addition, the more current studies in the field of primate ethology suggest that the full range of human behaviors are present in our nearest primitive relatives, at least in the outline. This is an interesting book, not because I agree with it, but because 5D, we're moving away from this bullshit. I keep telling you guys that the fact that we are hacking out of these 3D density brains, these little monkey brains, don't I always say monkey brain, monkey thoughts? And here it is. He's outlining that it is nature, that violence is part of the animalistic system. Violence. I don't agree. I think that I just talked to you about meat eating and the frequency of survival and fear. And survival and fear is an egregore that encompasses the planet. I just read to you about Venetian life, where animals, even when we were in Lemuria, we did not eat the animals, we communicated telepathically with the animals. This dogmatic book, which I'm going to read because I want to see how men are talking to each other. Because what they're doing is perpetuating violence and saying, we have to face it. Oh, too bad. I guess that's how we're wired. Too bad. But that's how we're wired. Get over it. Learn how to fucking deal with it. But the truth about violence from the masculine in this egregoric bullshit patriarchy that circumvents our true nature is that I've never met a woman who was at some point afraid of it. Because she knew that in the undercurrent of this volcano was danger, real danger. Okay? Like her life could be ripped out of her own hands by some whack job that fucking lost his shit. Case in point, the son of a bitch who just did what he did to his 3 daughters, little babies. That he could do that. Okay? And let me tell you something about crazy. Oh, but he's crazy. You know, he's mentally deranged. Really? Well, if a guy who's 6'5", weighed 270 pounds of pure muscle, he suddenly would be fucking fine. Real crazy, in my opinion, is when somebody will go up on someone, on 3 or 4 men that are like, you know, muscular, powerful, and doesn't give a shit. That's when you know that person's unhinged. That person mentally is incapable of making decisions. But when a person can be crazy on a woman, but not crazy on a man that's 6'5", and of pure muscle and pure rage, and suddenly he backs down, that's not crazy. There's nothing wrong with him. He just knows how to pick his victims. And he knows how to back away. So, I'm going to read this book. Again, and it's an interesting book because I'm realizing what these men are writing. And it doesn't give me hope. Because when Carl Jung was doing the breakdown of archetypes, the anima and animus of us, he wasn't doing it to support the patriarchy, in my humble opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but that's my humble opinion, my takeaway. He was doing it to help humanity rise out of fucking primitive behavior, aka violence. And though violence is an egregore, war has been, and I've talked about in my last 3 or 4 lives, war has been supplanted from other draconian species, sentient beings on other planets, and brought here. The Lemurians weren't in war. There was no war during the when the Lemurians were the first ones to come here. And then the Atlanteans came in the Golden Age, right? And there was no problems with war. There was trade. There was disagreement because people, you know, sentient beings disagree. We know this. But they knew how to disagree. And disagreement did not fall into violence of literally annihilating a whole people. Geno, famine, you know, war. And So what's concerning to me as I read this book, and again, I'm judging the book by, the first, to be fair, the first chapter, or the first page actually. Right there, I'm seeing something I disagree with. And there are books that I do read that I disagree with, but I have to understand, where the fuck are people coming from? Especially the masculine. And if the masculines are learning this, they're finding, oh my God, my brothers, I want to learn this from you. I'm like, oh fuck, we're fucked. Because it perpetuates what we're all trying not to be spinning through. Again, a karmic loop of bullshit. Patriarchal bullshit, matriarchal acceptance, which is also toxic bullshit. So I will recommend Iron John by Robert Bly, because he was not proposing violence. I'm trying to remember the opening scene. I'm trying to remember the movie. It was a Greek. It was on. It was about ancient Greece. I'm not sure if it was the Trojan War, or if it was something else. But there's a scene of a boy and this was a rite of passage, because one of my people in my book club was asking about what are some of the things I should teach my sons, right? And one of the books I gave her was Raising Cain, Protecting the Emotional Life of Boys. The second book was Robert Bly, Iron John, which is a very important book. Very, very important. It is the women who run with the wolves for men, is what it is. And if you have never read it as a woman, you need to. And if you're a man and you've never read Women Who Run with the Wolves, my 6'3", 230-pound boxer read it, because he wanted to know what I thought about my own experience being a woman. He wanted to understand the mythos of the feminine psyche through fairy tales, and the deconstruction through, Pincola's breakdown using Carl Jung archetype model, for example. So, you don't have to agree with all the fuck you read, but you should at least understand what the other side is saying, so that you can be prepared and not be surprised. Yeah, there's another book I need to turn you on to, and it was written by Dr. Zeus. Don't laugh. He's an incredible scholar. He's got a PhD. He was Regina Meredith's husband, and he wrote a book on masculinity, breaking down all of the archetypes of the masculine, from patriarchy to king to warrior, to the complete new male. And God, it's not on my bookshelf right here. I think it's here, but I'm not sure where, and I don't want to stop right now. But what I will say is that my beloved consort read it, and he absolutely adored it. But he admitted to himself, I'm a patriarch. I go, well, that's not something to crow about. He goes, I look, this is who I am. I don't know what to do. So what happens with patterns of behavior is we get stuck in that personality, which I was telling this client tonight about the untethered soul. I think it's chapter 3, if I'm correct, where Michael Singer breaks down, who are you? The problem with these archetypes, the problem with us clinging to our personalities as the only thing, yes, you're going to be your personality. You're going to be Jennifer. You're going to be Daniel. You're going to be Jim. You are, okay? I know this. But you need to get into the habit of looking in the mirror and going transcendental on yourself, like realizing you're a multidimensional light being, realizing you've been maybe Genghis Khan, you've been a slave woman in the marketplace of Greece, you've been all of these things. And what is this illusion of who you are as a personality embedded in this avatar, this flesh and bone body, isn't the entirety of you. And if you believe it's the entirety of you, you can't evolve, which was a problem with my beloved. That personality was his entire persona that people expected from him. Peer pressure. And you can't give a fuck what people think of you as you evolve, change, and drop certain behaviors, lifestyle choices, whatever. You cannot. You cannot live for people's expectation. You have to constantly push yourself to new levels of vistas of of transformations, sometimes I may scare the shit out of you, much less the people around you that I say, wait, hang on, where's Sally? What happened to Sally? Sally, you've changed. Like, that's a bad thing. The only time it's a bad thing is now you're addicted. Sally's addicted. Yeah, she's changed. That's bad. Sally is no longer going to Sunday church. Sally doesn't wear long skirts down to her ankle anymore. She's wearing, tight ass skirts showing off her body because now she's lifting weights, or she's doing yoga and she looks amazing. And Sally's dyed her hair red. Oh my God, Sally's changed. Are you scaring people? Sally? I guess you're scaring people. Because as long as you play the role they accept, right? There's a great analogy they just dropped on me. There's a picture, and it's so fucking inspiring. The woman's 53. She looks like shit, okay? I'm just going to say. She's got short hair. She looks like she's 63. She looks like shit. She's overweight. She's plain Jane. Her body's fucking inflamed. She's puffy as fuck. Her face has got the cortisol face. And guess what? In 2 years, you wouldn't even know that she's got long blonde hair. She's wearing makeup. Not a lot. Just a little. Highlighting her face. That's all. And her body is fucking slamming. She's actually in a bikini. She's been lifting weights. She's been running. And she's competing in a bikini competition. That I'll never forget that picture of the before and after. It was like a fucking different woman. And I can tell you, when she was able to get into the bikini and make 20-year-old girls jealous of her, every friend she had fucking said bye, ghosted her, ignored her. I wonder how many friends were with her from the beginning until that transformation happened. I wonder. And that's something you have to understand. If you play small to make people comfortable, you are self-harming. That's it. You're self-harming yourself. And the question you have to ask is, are you that desperate to have that many people accept you? You know what I mean? Is that really the most important thing for you? To play small. Okay? And I know women, I'm one of them. When I was very young, I used to do certain things to make sure people were comfortable around me. As a teenage girl, older teenager, into my 20s, and then in my 30s, I went, oh, fuck this. Fuck this. I'm never going to play small to make other women comfortable around me. They can go, they either love me, I love them, or loyal. We're Doc Holidays on this, journey called life, or, yeah, we're done. I don't need these people. And that's when my life changed. Okay? And I do know that a lot of women do play small to make their friends comfortable. And it's disgusting to me. Because, again, you're wasting your time making people who have nothing to offer you. You know what I mean? Okay, so let me look at any questions or comments. Anybody, what was the number you guys came up with for children? Did anybody share that or no? Let me see. Did anybody? No one shared that. I hope you got something out of that exercise, because that was an important exercise. I need to take that action myself. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing it too. I'm finally taking my life back into my hands and my body. There's a lot of things I need to do for my health that I have to do. And because the other thing that I notice with women, and all of you know this, is that women, it doesn't matter if you're skinny or overweight, you'll have a little belly that comes out, sometimes even bigger, it's really, and they say, oh, it's this, it's that. No. Long ago, I figured out it was the fact that we hold the pain of those we love in our womb. And we have a pot belly for it, a pot belly. You know what I mean? A little pooch or a bigger pooch. And it's really that our womb becomes the transmitter of, it's like a container. We contain their pain. We contain sacred space for them. And it actually impacts our bodies. So giving yourself time for yourself, like I was telling this client today, listen, you need to put your kid in for 1 week. right? 'Cause she's always working. If she's not working, it's the kids. She's a single mother with 3 children. And I said, you need to be able to put your kids in a summer school for summer camp away from the house for 1 week, so you can have the whole house to yourself, so that by the time the 5th day hits, you miss them, they miss you, and there's a sense of desire, this sense of longing to be with each other again. But at least the first 4 days, you're walking around the house giggling to yourself because it's all yours. Like, people need space. Women especially need time. You can't always, like she was saying, I have 3 kids and they both have activities. So she's driving 6 days a week on what her kids need and working. I don't think she rests. She's constantly, what do I hear most? I'm exhausted. I've yet to meet a woman say, oh yeah, I slept really well. Yeah, I've yet to meet one. Not yet, anyway. So you're doing too much and you need to do more. Good advice, do that guilt-free. Absolutely. I remember when my husband at the time, and my son was like, how old was he? Yeah, he was 12. He was 12, and they were going to Catalina Island. And it was either I was going to go or he was going to go. And I told my husband, listen, can you take our son to the cat? I'm like, I want to go, but I don't want to go. It was weird. I was like, trust me, I've always wanted to go to Catalina, and I never will. It's one of the places I'll never go to, unfortunately. But whatever, move on. But anyway, so they went for 2 days, and I invited, I'll never forget this. I invited my best friend to come and spend 2 days with me at the house, right? And she was like saying, so when do I come over? I go, plans have changed. She goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm really enjoying being alone, man. I haven't been, because I was homeschooling my kid as well. I said, I haven't been alone in fucking 15 years, okay? And I need to fucking be alone. Like, I know I'm pissing you off, but I swear to God, she hung up. And I was like, and she was so mad. She was texting me furiously with her anger because she really wanted to spend time with me at the place, at our house. And I was like, look, I love you very much. It's not personal. It's not you, but I need these 2 days. These 2 days are precious. So I ended up laying out nude in the yard and doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And I can't tell you how much I enjoyed my 2 days. And when they came back, they had pictures and adventures and SeaWorld. Sea animals and this, that, and the other. And we really had such a great 3 or 4 months because they were gone. They missed me towards the end of the 2nd day. Of course, I missed them, but I needed that time alone. So I'll never forget how precious that was. So I think you should take that advice. Like, try to figure out how to go to an Airbnb, go to the Hilton Hotel with room service, get the fuck out of the house, and let somebody else handle your kids for 2 days. Even if it's for 2 days. I'm not kidding. Thank you so much for your speaking on how women undermine other women. Oh, yeah. Women, I hate to say it, but women do undermine. They've been raised by, what do they call the pre-boomers? I forgot. But you've got to understand, for 1,000 years, women competed with each other, and it meant their life or death. It was survival. Okay? And women to this day, again, I was telling one of my clients, not Airbnb. Okay, you're right. Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely not Airbnb. Oh yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, just rent, go to a bed and breakfast, actually. You know that? Come to think of it. But anyway, going back, I didn't even know that. Jesus. Anyway, what I'm going to say to you is this. In the concept of watching women overschedule their kids and never have time for themselves, they start losing their Shakti energy. And so that's one thing. But in terms of the thousands of years of competing with women, to survive, it's become an egregore of its own. And there are 2 components to that. One is women don't trust their friends not to seduce their husbands or boyfriends. Let's be honest, okay? And 2, women don't trust that their husband, boyfriend, even fathers or brothers won't try to seduce their good-looking friend. Let's be honest. So it's a double-edged sword of absolute mistrust. And I can understand why some people would stick to these kinds of relationships. But as you mature, as you get older, you realize that to be paranoid, if you don't trust someone, you probably shouldn't be with them at all. You probably shouldn't continue the relationship. You should be able to, at the very minimum, know that you have women friends who would never dare try to seduce your man. Just like you should know that your man would never try to seduce your husband. You know what I mean? Or boyfriend or whatever. So the concept of competition with other women is real. When I was working for Psychic Source, it's one of the reasons why I quit after I worked with them for 3 years. But is women would call me up and say, I know he's married, but I just want him for fun. I just want to borrow him for a few months. That's all. He's hot. A lot of women were doing that. A lot of women. I'd have women who were the mistress, the other woman, and ask me, well, can I get pregnant? I'm like, first of all, in these kinds of 1-800, you're not allowed to give health advice nor pregnancy advice. But the question was, I still don't understand women like this. Why would you want to get pregnant with a married man who already has a row of kids? Number one, because he's not going to choose your ass. He's got other kids he's trying to raise. And two, why would you want to be pregnant with a man who's never going to be available? Who's cheated on his wife, who's most likely, if he moves in with you by some crazy, reckless moment, you get him, you win the big dog, and that dog's and continues being a dog with other women. It's like the level of logic absent is shocking. It's shocking. So this concept of women competing and destroying marriages, it takes two to tango. I'm not putting the man on a pedestal, don't get me wrong, but the man's already fucked up. He's cheating. Okay, we already know this. But the minute a woman knows that the man's taken, meaning he's married and he's doing this and he's telling you, oh, she just won't have sex with me, and she won't do X. Well, then fucking leave her, man. It's not the fucking 1880s. It's fucking the 21st century. Leave her. So men are full of shit. They manipulate. Many, many men will not tell a woman they're married until 3 to 6 months in because they want you wrapped up, number one. But number two, I've seen women who pursued married men, and the whole thing was almost like Dangerous Liaison, the movie I'm talking about, I hope, Dangerous Liaison, which is all about the hunt. I want that man. I know he's faithful to his woman. That's why I want him. What a challenge. There are women like that, lots of them. So it came to me after my 40s that I realized it wasn't women that were assholes or men. It was people or assholes. It's gender non-specific. It's pretty non-specific. They're all assholes, okay? And what you have to look for is people non-gender specific that have integrity with a concept, who don't want to share genitalia with other people, who don't want to share someone else's person, who actually looks at the man going, wait, hang on, you're married, you got 2 kids, she's pregnant with the 3rd, and you want to fuck me? What are you serious? Are you for real? Get the fuck out of here. And there are women like that, I being one of them, and I'm sure you listening, because by now you would scroll because I would have offended you, you're probably one of them too. You know what I mean? So it's quite interesting. So let me go right into I want to do a card reading. This one is on the Mary Magdalena deck. I might actually, if you want me to, I might do the Kali if you want me to. But, and then we'll talk about, you know what I want to do? I have a feeling that this might be fun. I want you to tell me your life path, okay? Something's coming over me that I want to do that for some of you. And I never do this. So I want you to tell me your life path. How do you do that? Add your month, your day, and your year, the entire year. If you're born in 1975, the entire year. Give you an example. I don't have the calculator in front of me. But if you're born 5/5/1975, add all the numbers. Then give me a single digit number and I'll give you your life path, what it means. Why? Because I have a feeling that someone out there needs that information. So, okay, so thank you. 7 life path. Okay, 7 is connected to Neptunian water. It's about the 7 wonders of the world. It's about the journey. It's about transformation, constant transformation. The shadow number behind that is 16, the tower. And the tower talks about not letting go when you have to. And what that means is if you don't let go, right? The universe will say, well, fuck, she's not letting go, so fuck it, let's just pull the whole thing down, tower. So 7 in your case means that you've been able to, in a past incarnation, learn how to let go. And you probably had to remember that lesson, but you did master it. And so instead of being born or having a double life path of 16, and if you do have 16, then that's the shadow number, okay? The shadow number is what I just told you, which is 16. It's fucked up. It's 16. But 7 is a win-win. It's a win, okay? 9. 9 is the master number. You can look at it on my playlist under numerology. Your life path, I've broken it down there are two videos you want to look for. One is 9, just your basic 9, and one's 144. 414 and so forth. You'll see it. And those 2 you should listen to if you're a 9. 9 is the master number. Go ahead, all of you, and add 93. What does it come out to? It comes out to 12. What is 12? 3. You never have to, the minute you see a number that has a 9 in it, you don't even have to add the 9. You just know that the single digit is going to be whatever that, it doesn't matter if it's 94, 95, 97, it's always going to be that number. 9 is connected to 27, 18, the scepter is 27, it's a great number. And it's connected also to 18, spiritual and material conflicts, connected to the tarot, 18, which is the moon, confusion. Like, how the fuck am I going to get there? So that's 18, which is really interesting. And hang on, there's another one. 36, we know but that's not going to be a life path. Well, it could be actually, but 36, again, we're looking, 36 is connected to 27 actually. And so, again, we're dealing with, that's the master number, not 11, not 22. And I'll explain if somebody comes up with those numbers. So that was 9. 8. 8 is a karmic number. I'll be blunt. It's a very dense karmic number, and I'll explain why. 8 is when you fucked yourself over in many incarnations. 8 is when you didn't speak up. 8 is when you wanted to make people happy. 8 is when you went against your own desires. Okay, 8 is when you did fuck people over. Maybe you were Genghis Khan. Maybe you were Napoleon. I'm giving you like massive, intense energies on that. 8 is not what people think. 8 is the infinity loop when you turn it sideways like a necklace, right? And then it becomes the infinity loop. But what does that mean? What is infinity? It keeps looping. Sure, I know it's a symbol, but I'm looking at trying to break down symbols that were brought down from people who wanted us to limit our perceptions. What does that mean? It means 8 has always been glorified, but I've never seen 8 that was not somewhat challenged. 8 in the book by Linda Goodman on numerology, star signs, it has its own fucking chapter. That's how intense it is. But if you transmute that number, if you follow your bliss, if you do what your heart says, all of that, it loses its density. It loses its power. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, that's not true because I've heard 8 from the Chinese. And I say bullshit because I've actually done numerology since 1994. And I've seen how these numbers are connecting to people and how those people had certain lifestyles and others did not. So 8 is asking you to follow your heart, be honest. Don't block your throat chakra. Don't play small. Don't fuck other people over. Don't gossip. Don't backstab. Be in your integrity. Be in your transparency always. And at that point, it loses its density. 1, well, you know what 1 is. 1 is connected to the sun. The sun, well, I've already done 26, my love, which is 8. 1 is the sun, It's clarity. It's connected to in tarot 19. 19, what is 19? Well, 1 plus 9 is 10. It's connected to the Wheel of Fortune, Isis, Osiris. It's connected to the balance of the yin and yang, and to understanding that the Wheel of Fortune turns up, good luck, goes down, bad luck. That's the flow of the cycle of life. And 1 is the sun, clarity, healing, and it's the best sign. 1 is a very powerful number. What else? 3. 3 is connected to Uranus. It's connected to the balance of the mind, body, and spirit. It's connected to being very interested in different religions. Be careful not to be dogmatic about the religion you follow or religions. It's about original thought and hang on, I'm trying to remember. Original co-creations. It could be mathematics. It could be about ancient history. It could be about spirituality. It's about deconstructing the old and originating the new. That's the power of that number. You know what I mean? It's really cool. And we're done. Okay, perfect. So let me look at these cards and let's see what we're going to be doing here. And so when I do a reading, like a twin flame reading, I do the numerology of you and your person. I do an oracle card, and then I do the reading. And it's 60 minutes. But part of the reason we look at the single digit numbers is because we're doing it here for free. So I'm doing it. But I look at the day you're born. I want to know what the fuck's going on here. I want to know your life path. I want to know the life path of your double digits. There's all kinds of things. But in a way, hopefully you got the essence of it and what's important about it. Okay? So I'm going to look at the card. And the card we have is called the Tree of Life, Peace. Awesome. The number, strangely enough, is 26, which is connected to 8. Here we go again with 8. And I'm going to read it to you and see what it says. Because whoever was a 26, it could be your message. Okay, the Tree of Life, Peace. Offer the olive branch of peace and reconciliation to someone you are having problems with. See if you can transcend your differences. Life is too short for discord. It is a big waste of energy and keeps you in a field of lower frequency. The olive was called the Tree of Life by the ancients. It came to represent society that could live and prosper in peaceful trade rather than the pillage of war. Trading instead of taking was an evolutionary step for many cultures in becoming involved in peaceful living and communal work. Societies could produce great art, sculpture, and literature instead of the arms and machines of battle. Extending an olive branch came to be known as an offer of peace between people. Olive oil was known as liquid gold as it brought abundance of good health and well-being. Sarah, by the way, on the heart, Sarah was the name of Yeshua and Mary Magdalena's daughter. Her name was Sarah. Okay? Sarah listens to the heartbeat of the ancient one. Olive trees can live for 2,000 years and embody the presence of the ages. The long memories of the past abide in its body. Its roots connect to the subterranean world, while its branches and leaves touch the heavens, signifying the continuance of life. Visit a forest to think things through. Feel the vibrant life energy of the planet and trees living together in harmony. Each has its own value within the diversity of the landscape. Apply this sense of synergy to your problems or conflict. Stepping out of the negative energy will help you think more clearly so solutions can be found. Incredible. That was a great card. The concept of peace is really something that we all want. None of us want to be in... we don't want to be in war. And we don't understand, and this is 5D concepts, we don't understand why anyone would choose war over peace under any circumstances. We don't understand why people can't cohabitate and share resources. We don't understand, and that is a problem. That is a problem in our, we're seeing that problem as we speak. Okay, the next card is 6. Emerging from the shadow, reveal what is hidden. Okay, let me read that. So this is 6. Bear with me. Okay, emerging from the shadow, reveal what is hidden. Page 24. By the way, that's insane. 24 is numerology of love, money, and creativity. It's one of the best master numbers because it's connected to 6. 6 is Venus, connected to love, co-creation. It's a great number. Life path or what have you. It's time to speak your truth. Don't hold back if it will benefit or liberate others. Did you hear that? Don't hold back if it will benefit or liberate others. Bringing the truth to light is likely to bring release and enhance your well-being. The hidden queen was unacknowledged and so became black or hidden. There are countless examples in the Bible where people are referring to as being black as a way of saying concealed. For example, the princes of King David's line were symbolically black, meaning unrecognized. Their princes were brighter than snow and whiter than milk. But now they are blacker than soot. They are not recognized in the streets. Lamentation 4.78. This is how the exiled queen and princes became symbolized as the Black Madonna, so prevalent in Europe. She was the unknown bride, the hidden queen. Worship of her eventually led to the Inquisition as the patriarchal church tried to bury her. The heretical knowledge of the beloved was kept alive through art, symbols, plays, and literature for those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear. The power of truth is at work in your life, shining through the cracks, ready to burst forth and dissolve the shadows. Your qualities will be honored and authenticity will rule the day. And sometimes, you earn that from one incarnation to the next. That's why when you do numerology, right, you got to realize that it's not a punishment at all. Your numbers are numerology, life path, double digit, single digit. It's important because they're both kind of going to give you different shadows and understandings. It's telling you that this is what you need to work on. And once you work on it and you master some of these aspects, you have transmuted and transcended. Like, for example, 3. 3 is actually 12. 12 is the sacrifice and the victim. That's its shadow. 3 is, I got this. I can actually do this. I can master the mind, the spirit, and the body. But 12 is the shadow. 12 is saying, stop fucking overgiving to assholes. Stop overgiving. Stop constantly victimizing yourself into martyrdom. Stop doing that. That's the shadow that 3 doesn't show when you just see the single digit of that life path. And that's why you have to look at the double digits because that's where the answers lie. Where are my shadows? Some of us don't have any shadows. Okay? I'll give you an example. I was born on the 18th of a day, right, of a month. And 18, so you've got 1, right, which is the light, Ra, the sun. But you've got 8. And 8 with the 1 is 9. So 9 is the ultimate number of co-creation with the universe. Nothing's impossible. But 18 together is spiritual material conflict. It's confusion. In tarot, it's connected to the moon. Okay? So even though it's a 9, the shadow is 18. And the shadow has to be transmuted through a life, whatever life path you choose, to actually transmute it to the vibration of 9. So now 18 collapses into nothing because 9 is the number that reverberates its power. Because you as a human being saw the numerology and went, it's telling me something. This is why, on another side note, you'll see people and they'll spell their name Karen. They'll say Karen, Kaeren. And you'll go, what the fuck? I've never seen Karen spelled that way. And I can guarantee they've done numerology. Even their parents did it or they did it. And they added a letter to add vibration to the number to give them more juju, more good vibrations. Do you have a book? I'm 25/7 life path. Do I go by 16? No. If you're 25, so if you're 25, that's discrimination and that's excellent. I'm really glad you're not a 16 because 25 is straight up discrimination and analysis. And that means that you learn from mistakes. You watch people and you learn from them. It's a very short, information. It's not like mind blowing, but it's a person that's pragmatic and watches in silence and says, "Oh, I learned this. Oh, I'm not doing that again." If you see that swinging on a swing can break your ankle, you'll never be on a swing again, because you're like, yeah, that didn't work for them. Or at least not that type of swing, hung on a tree, on a tire, right? You'll say, yeah, that's not the kind of swing I want. I want a more secure swing. So you learn by watching, and you learn by analyzing. And the gift that these people have in 25 is that they don't always have to experience it firsthand to learn it. And so I'll tell you about that book later. Okay, Jennifer? All right. But most numerology books are shit, to be honest. So that is a problem. It's a problem. Yeah, you're welcome. Did anybody have a double digit that they could give me? Because that would be interesting to me. I'm just curious. And right now we have 9 people, which is really cool. 9 people. I'm just wondering, because I don't know what it is. It's 2:48 in the morning and I just can't sleep. Any other questions? Because should we do, I don't know if I want to read that much, actually. Reading, my throat is like, hang on, let me look at what else we got that I could. So one of the great books that I recommend, not a lot, actually, not enough to be honest, is Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but in the back of the book, it has a complete list of if you're sick. Like, I'll give you an example. Here, why don't you guys throw in what is a challenge in your physical body? Go ahead and type it in. I'll look it up and I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what the problem is, okay? Does anybody have any physical challenge? Any physical challenge whatsoever? Coughing. All right, so throat chakra, right? So coughing. So I'm going to look up coughing. Thank you, Jennifer. Hang on. Let me look at coughing. Let me look at coughing. Bear with me. Congestion. Colon. Hang on. They don't have coughing. I think it probably has... I'm going to go with, bronchitis, colds, influenza. See, bronchitis. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So, bronchitis. All right, cool. Yeah, because or else we'd be here all day long. Okay, here it is. Okay, so we've got 2 we can look at, but I'm just going to stick with that. Okay, so bronchitis. Inflamed family environment. Arguments and yelling, sometimes silent. I declare peace and harmony within me and around me, all is well. I'm going to go to ailments. See respiratory ailments. Respiratory ailments, because that is coughing. Coughing, is throat chakra impediment. If you're really, really coughing, I would do gargling with apple cider vinegar and a little water, and that should help with that. If it's emotional pain body, then it's the throat chakra. You're not, and I know you speak your truth, so I'm not sure. You have to look at that. Let me jump in. Okay, so back. It's all of you have back pain? Bloody hell. Okay, well, I know that one very well because I have back pain when I don't feel supported by the universe. So this is perfect. Let's look at that. Back pain. Bear with me. Back problems. Okay, now listen to this because it's all different. Let's start with back. It represents the support of life. Listen to the solution. I know that life always supports me. You need to say to yourself, I know that life always supports me. Let's continue. Back problems, lower back problems, fear of money, lack of financial support. I trust the process of life. All I need is always taking care of me. I am safe. Middle back, guilt, stuck in all that stuff back there. Get off my back. I release the pain, the past. I am free to move forward with love in my heart. Upper back pain. The back pain you get in between your shoulder blades? Lack of emotional support, feeling unloved, holding back love. I love and approve of myself. Life supports and loves me. Anything else? I'm doing Moonline too. Good for you. Gut issues with food sensitivities and toxicity from mold, which leads to heart issues, inflammation. Well, you're not going to like what I'm going to say. I know that mold is a problem, but our ancestors live with a lot of fucking mold, okay? Like, a lot. I know that some people are massively sensitive to certain things. I get it. But the gut issue is, let me look up gut, because I think it's, yeah. Let's look at gut. Let's look at what's going on with it. Let me see. Hang on, okay? Hang on. It's not exactly, bear with me, because this is important. Ça fait 1 minute. Let's see here. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. And get the ones from the 90s. Get the copies from the 90s, not the newer versions, because you never know what they fucked with them. Okay? I all my books, I try to get from the original author while they were still alive and in control. Okay, so let me see if I can find gut issues. I'm like trying to find it. It's a pain in the ass because it's not. Hang on. Let me see. Okay, hang on. I'm going in the right direction. I have to admit, I have to meditate soon. That will help me sleep well, but yeah, it didn't go into gut. So I'm going to go right into, it did not go into gut. Let's see if there's something else. Gray hair growth, gum problems. Let me look at stomach issues. Okay? I'm going to look at stomach issues. Intestines. Okay, we're going to look at his intestines. Listen to this. And also we're going to look at colon. Assimilation, absorption, elimination with ease. I easily assimilate and absorb all that I need to know and release the past with joy. I release the past with joy. See colon. Okay, so let me look at colon real quick. Going back and forth here like crazy. But I'm glad to do it for you because it could help you. And I'll upload this video, don't worry. Follow me on YouTube. Tons of different types of videos. Colon. Listen to this. Fear of letting go. Holding on to the past. I easily release that which I no longer need. The past is over and I am free. Okay? What's next? I hope. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, there's a comment. Gut issues. Okay, hang on. Yes, I'm doing... Okay. Anybody else with issues that they want to share? Anybody else? You know what's big with people is eczema? You're welcome. Let me go with that. Breathtaking antagonism, mental eruptions, harmony and peace, love and joy surround me and indwell me. I'm safe and secure. So eczema is breathtaking antagonism, mental eruptions. Hang on for a quick second. Epilepsy. I think it's important. Caesar had epilepsy. Sense of persecution, rejection of life, a feeling of great struggle, self-violence. I choose to see life as eternal and joyous. I am eternal and joyous and at peace. Epstein-Barr, I hear that mentioned a lot. Pushing beyond one's limit, fear of not being good enough, draining of all inner support, stress virus. I relax and recognize my self-worth. I am good enough. Life is easy and joyful. To be honest with you, I would say to you guys, I mean, this is all the answers. I mean, I know what she's saying because they're you know, affirmations in English, but I'm a big proponent of Sanskrit. So these problems that I'm seeing would be Om Namah Shivaya. It would be Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So it's Shiva, and it's connected to destroying the blocks. It's asking Shiva to come in and destroy all blocks. So you would concentrate on that on your back, on your gut. You would put your hands over your gut, your stomach, and ask and just go with Om Namah Shivaya. You could also do Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha, which is connected to Durga, connected to Kali energy. And it's dissolving blocks. Or you could do, and again, you can look on my profile page, you can look at my mantra for abundance. One of the ones that actually would be really good is Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema. So what that means is I am divine love. So you're sending divine love to your gut, to your back, to your, in other words, you would sit there and literally put your hands on your back, right? And literally, and then rub it up and down, right? From your, wherever it hurts, all the way down to your buttocks, and go Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema. And that would create a loving energy. The body is massively aware. Why do you think they came up with the term pain body? The pain body is because, and I was telling this to this client tonight, I was telling her, listen, because she was saying, I'm not aware of my body. I'm like, wait, hang on. What do you mean you're not aware of your body? And she isn't, okay? She comes from a place in the world where it's almost like you couldn't be, it was all about cerebral. You know what I mean? Cerebral work. Nothing else mattered. I asked her, well, remember we just talked about polyester clothes. And I said to her, and she couldn't understand why that would be important. Which, if you're only cerebral and only in 3D educational systems, right? And only after earning money and having a career and then having babies, this, that, and the other, and going through the motion like automatic pilot, right? You're not going to be connected to your body. Why is this important? If you're not connected to your body, in fact, I'm going to be very transparent. I stopped connecting to the body when I went through the dark night of the soul with my twin. But throughout my life, I would go in and out of being connected to my body. And connecting to your body can be overwhelming in a beautiful way. I'll give you an example. I remember living in the Bahamas, right? When I was like, it was 18, 19 years old. There, we'd go here, we'd go to New York, blah, blah. Anyway, and I remember being so in tune with my body that being in my body felt sensuous and fulfilling. Like I didn't need a lover to be completely vibrationally, sensually, ecstatically fulfilled. I would go swimming in the ocean while it rained. Everyone rushed back into the hotel. And when I say lived, I mean we'd live in that hotel for 2-3 months, okay? That was a long time ago. But my point is, I'd be out in the ocean, the rain, I would take off my swimsuit, I'd play like chicken, because if it was ever swept away, I was really fucked because I had no other clothes, but I would let it dangle in the water while I enjoyed my full body in the ocean while it rained. Water around my body, water coming down into my crown chakra, and the levels of sensuality. And I don't mean sexual, I mean sensual, connection, vibration. I felt intensely creative, intensely blissed out, and fulfilled by my own presence within this body. And then realizing that to be connected, like for me, and I think some people can relate to that, when you get to a level, when you lift weights and you're sweating, you hit a sweet spot where all the serotonins hit in an incredible way. And you just want to have sex. You want to make love, And that is one of the fabulousness about exercising. But at the same time, if you are celibate, it's a problem because you do not want to just grab someone. So in some aspects, I could see myself like pulling down the reins, like going, no, because I know how, involved I can get in the body. And why is it? But for some people, and this is important to note, for some people, they've never, ever, ever experienced that kind of solitary joy. And that's not to experience that is dangerous. I'll tell you why. Because the massive little levels of changes from subtle to overt can be completely misunderstood, ignored, or, and that's not good. You can get consciousness shift from eating fruit all day and nothing else. You can get consciousness shift from fasting. You can get consciousness shift from having a great enema. I'm not joking. I'm not being funny. I'm quite serious. And you can have I remember I was feeling really bad, really bad, like 4 or 5 days ago, and it was raining like fuck. It was daytime, and I took off my shoes and I went walking on the grass for like, at 7 minutes, I went, holy fuck, I feel amazing. And it was because the electromagnetic current of the earth was on my bare feet in the rain with the ions in the sky, right in the air. And I went, I got to do this every day. Fuck, I got to do this every day. I got to walk barefoot and I will get all the benefits. So this is being aware of one's body. You know what I mean? It's really important. I felt much body during trauma several times, dissociation. It should have been my I didn't understand the loss of it. I always thank my body at the end of the day. Thank my heart for beating, my lungs for breathing. That's beautiful, Jennifer. So being aware of your body is really important, because if you're not aware, if you get seriously sick, whatever, or you won't even fucking pay attention to it. You won't know. You won't know when to rest. But does that make sense? So anyway, so we went through veganism. We went through the material. So if you miss any of this live, you may want to go back to the beginning, because it was about the ascension light codes and how the frequency connects to what you eat, what you wear, your chakra alignment, all of that. And yeah, it's about 3:03, so I'm going to go. I want to thank you for being on this live. Thank you so much for your time. If you want to watch any of I had a great live with Mark Water Bear Medicine on Marcus Aubrey Marcus, that bimbo, and about polyamory, and how it just, I'm sorry, respectfully, it doesn't work. I've yet to see someone who's had a 27-year relationship in a polyamorous situation, but I have seen people who are straight up faithful to each other, married for 27 years, with no other lovers in the scene. I swear to God, I have. And the point is, so the gaslighting in the New Age community has come to a full, whatever, cycle of implosion. There also, I did a couple lives on the Mary Magdalene and Yeshua template being destroyed and why. There's all kinds of stuff on Satya Yuga, on guided meditations you can look at, things of that nature. So follow me on TikTok, follow me on YouTube. And oh, you're so sweet, Alyssa. I love you. Thank you for what you do. You're so sweet. Thank you, my love. So hopefully you had a good scene with us, and come back again. Hopefully visit me. I never know when I'm going to do a live. I apologize. I never plan. It's just how it works. Okay. So go on my profile page, check out the guided meditations. They're free. Check out the mantras, check out the numerology, and hopefully you'll get a lot out there. And follow me on YouTube. There's a lot of lives that I think you'll like. I take my gloves off, so I'm sorry. I just do. And yeah, I'm excited about this transition we're going through. It's brutal. I know. Be kind to yourself. Don't let people with their bed-rotting comments, that bed-rotting bullshit. I hate some of the shit that feel like psyop moves to me. When your body says, I'm exhausted, when your soul says, I'm exhausted, fucking listen. Stay in bed. Just stay in bed. Read books, get a stack of books, journal, paint in bed. That's right. And give yourself a whole weekend of just recalibrating yourself in bed. That's right. And when you're ready to rise from your bed, you will be recalibrated. Okay. Thank you for everything. Have to tune into YouTube to get complete live. Thank you. Much love to all of you. Thank you, Jennifer. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Namaste. Be